What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. I want to talk about a few things today. First thing I'm going to talk about is let you guys know a Facebook update of what's going on with my Facebook monetization. Second thing I'm going to talk about is the president contracted COVID since the last time I went live. So I'm going to talk about the COVID drama, the media hype over it, also how he's doing. Seems like he's doing well, which is fantastic. Then I'm going to talk about the lockdowns part 2. We saw this coming. We figured it would come in liberal Democrat areas, cities like New York, and we weren't wrong. DeBlasio plans to reinstitute COVID-19 lockdown in 9 New York City neighborhoods, despite the fact that I think the top 7 or 8 countries that did worst in per deaths per capita were lockdown. You know, there really isn't that much evidence that lockdowns were at all successful. I mean, if you look at the top 7 or 8 countries that had the most deaths per capita, they all had a lockdown, and countries like Sweden did much better. But they're going to go for the lockdown anyway, destroy more businesses. We're going to talk about that. And for a while here, I've told you guys I don't really trust or like the Pope, and he's blaming capitalism for the pandemic. So similar to the UN and these types of people, they believe in communism and communist type ideology. So they stop you from doing stuff. They stop you from traveling. They tell you that, you can't run your business for 3 months. And then they turn around and say, look, capitalism failed. Free market failed. Liberty failed. Thomas Jefferson's ideas failed. We have to go to where we want to go, even though they're the ones that caused most of the economic devastation. But this Pope, has been a sneak for a while, and he's outing himself further and further. But we'll talk about it. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. We'll wait for people to come in. I have 2 things I want to say before we start. First, let me post this to the top. I might pin it to the top for a little while and then unpin it. Let me see if I can pin it. Hold on. Okay, I can pin it. Oh, it's not even in the way. Okay, good. So I want to explain stuff before I start as people are coming in. I want to let you know what's going on with Facebook. So I briefly told you guys in a live stream, and I think I posted about it. I'm going to make a better video tomorrow, but most of my revenue comes from Facebook advertisements because I get millions of views a week. They post ads on my Facebook. Every time I go live, people give me stars, and I also have a fan subscription built into Facebook, like a Patreon, where I had thousands of people. And Facebook recently took all that away. Now you can see there's no more star option because they've taken away the stars. So now I can't make money on live streams ever again. They've taken away, which, by the way, it's not just politics or news or Facebook. Most live streamers that do stuff that I do, like Twitch and other websites, they make a living off this stuff. That's fine. They took that away, and what they did to fan subscriptions, I want to let you guys know, because it's really evil. These are wicked, demonic, evil people who then just turn around and give me no answer. But what they did was they froze it. So if you're a supporter right now, technically, I believe I will get your money, although I can't do 2 things. One, I can't live stream privately to the supporters, which is what I promised to do when you got it. So they've taken that away from me. And also, they won't allow me to reach out to you. So they've stolen my whole fan subscription platform. I can't get new fan subscriptions, but they won't even allow me to message you. They won't even let me message you one time to be like, hey guys, this is not going to happen anymore. So I'm not going to get into the legalities of it right now because I don't want to say something I'm going to regret. I'm going to seek legal counsel and such. But something about this doesn't smell legal. So I'm going to talk to a few lawyers to see what's going on. And everything they're doing is wrong. Everything they're doing is a lie. They said I got fact-checked too many times, which I haven't. And the times I have got fact-checks, I've already proven in videos that they've been wrong or completely inaccurate. It is what it is. So I'm just letting you guys know, if you would like to support, you can stay on Facebook if you'd like to be a Facebook supporter. I just can't talk to you, and I can't live stream to you. They're treating me like a prisoner. I would rather you, if you have the option, go to Patreon. So patreon.com/raretalk. If you want to support me on there, that's fine. If not, don't worry. I'm gonna make it. I'm selling hats. I'm selling shirts. I'm gonna write a new book. I'll figure a way around it. I'm not upset or anything, and I've been smart enough to save money, so I'm not in any sort of dire situation. But these are the games they play. Before I started, I just want to tell you, for people like me, I'm not a liar. If I was a liar like Rachel Maddow, if I was a liar like, Chris Matthews and his father, or not Chris Matthews, him too, but what's his name? The guy at the debate, Chris Wallace, and his father, Mike Wallace. If I was a media puppet like them, I'd make tens of millions of dollars and I'd get, a lot of money. But because I go against the narrative, because I tell the truth, because I work hard, because I started from a family of immigrants who came here with nothing, who worked hard. My parents worked hard. I'm working hard. they steal everything from me. They try to take my revenue, and they think it's going to maybe scare me out of this. Maybe they think it's going to stop me. I'm not quite sure. Maybe they just know that, if they could steal more money from me and give it to bigger corporations, that they'll have the upper hand. Whatever they want to do, they could try. It's taken probably 70, 80% of my income, but it's fine. I'm not even worried. You see me, I'm not stressed. I'm not angry. I expected these evil demons to do this. So, they could take my money. They could take my way of revenue. I'll find a new one. People are very supportive, so people have stepped up on Patreon and such, and I'll figure out a way to do that. And even if not, I've been saving, and I expected them to do this. So although it's disappointing, although they're going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not, to be honest, over the next 5 years, they're taking millions of dollars from me, which I haven't earned yet because I've not been getting paid through this for a while. But it's okay. I'm not really worried about it. There'll be other opportunities. And the one thing that they can't take away from me is I'm not a liar like them. I'm not a demon like them. I've reached 600 million people through my videos, so I really care about the message. We've planted seeds of truth, of wisdom, of real reporting in the households of 600 million people, 600 million views, and that's why they're mad. That's why they hate me. They work for the devil. I work for God. That's why I'm selling God Bless hats. So if you'd like to support now, just go to patreon.com/raretalk. You could buy a hat. You could buy a shirt. If not, I'm gonna sell more stuff. I'm gonna have a book, and we'll figure out ways. So if you'd like to do that, that's fine. If not, don't worry about it. It's all good. I'm not even remotely worried about it. It's just disappointing. These are the games they play, but this is not even remotely surprising. I know how they operate. They're very evil people, and they can't compete with me, so they have to try to take my money away, and eventually they'll try to smear my character. So be on the lookout for that. In the next 2 years, they're going to come for me personally. They're going to attack me like they do to the president, and they're going to try to attack me as a person or my past or whatever. I don't even know. You know how the games they play, because they can't really beat the content of my character, the content of my argument, what I'm saying with my videos. They can't do it. They have to lie about it. So that's just what I'm saying. So before we start, two things. If you'd like to support patreon.com/raretalk, I have dreamrare.com with my shirts and hats. And one more thing real quick. I just want to let you guys know, anybody who's buying a hat and a shirt, please get your address right. If you could do me one thing, if you do end up getting one, the amount of emails I'm getting, and I handle this 100% myself, the amount of emails I'm getting with people who did the wrong address. Anomaly, can you fix the address? Can you fix the address? Guys, before you buy a shirt or hat, please just type in your right address. I'm helping as many people as I can, changing as many addresses as I can, but I do that manually. So the more you mess up, the more work it takes, which is fine, but it's like, man, is it really that hard to write the address in? So try to get that right, guys. It's like 20 people have gotten it wrong so far. It's a lot of extra work for me, but it's okay. Appreciate y'all for supporting, and I'm not going to harp too much on it. I'll make a video about it tomorrow. I'm going to talk to lawyers and just keep it moving forward. It's all good. Take my money, take my revenue, take my fan subscription away, take my live stream, but you can't take my character. You can't take my work ethic, and you could have this devil strategy of just destroying everybody. It's like these disgusting demons. I don't know how they sleep at night, but whatever. That's for them. Maybe they have a sleepy mattress or something where it's nice and comfortable, but I can't see it. First thing I want to talk about is, since I last live streamed, and before I start, sorry, I want to let you guys know I'm fine. I've actually been hanging out with family. I'm seeing my grandma. I'm doing stuff that's more important than money and videos and stuff. So I've had a fantastic, even when they took away my ad revenue, I've been having a great week. I've been visiting my family, doing the important stuff, the stuff that makes you think none of this really matters. That's the reason I haven't been doing videos. This isn't going to stop my work ethic. I'm going to crank out just as many videos as I did before. It's not going to stop me at all. The only times I pause are when I'm on vacation or when I'm visiting family. So that's why I haven't been as active the last week. Has nothing to do with me getting to monetize. They just picked a weird time to do it. But I'll get back once I visit my grandma. She's been, sick and in some sort of care and such like that. And my father, something happened to him as well. So that's why I'm not making videos. So it's been a great week. I've got to see the people I love the most. So once I get back to my apartment, I'm going to show these demons who's boss. For now, President Trump contracted COVID-19. Pretty sketchy since I last live streamed. I mean, a lot of Republicans got it, and it does seem like an interesting time period for him to get it. And this is the crazy part about the media. They say everything's a conspiracy theory. It's crazy if you suggest anything other than what we want you to say. They act like they are some sort of Orwellian overlords of society where you can't possibly disagree with their politics, you can't possibly disagree with their racial and social agenda, you can't possibly disagree with their medical agenda. Nothing they do you can disagree with, or you're a horrible person. But I look at history before I even get into this, and it's like, was Abraham Lincoln not murdered? Because that's what I learned. Maybe you lied to me, but what I learned was Abraham Lincoln was murdered by an actor. And if you look at actors, Jim Carrey, Jimmy Kimmel, Madonna, these people are acting the most psychotic right now, so it's not hard to see how one of them did that stuff. Half of them are threatening to happen. They shot Ronald Reagan. They shot JFK. These are things that happened. JFK. And then I look at the way they treated Kavanaugh, and these people are evil. They don't care what they do, who they say, who they hurt. They want power. They want their political agenda over everything. So I've seen how they've operated towards politicians who are unfavorable towards them, and these are individual people at the time. So it's not a conspiracy theory to suggest World War I happened. It's not a conspiracy theory to suggest World War II happened. Stalin was real. Hitler was real. John Wilkes Booth was real. So, how they treated Kavanaugh was real, trying to destroy his character. How they treated, what was his name? The Supreme Court, I'm trying to think, Clarence Thomas, I believe he was the first black Supreme Court justice. How Biden and the Democrats treated him when he was trying to get in. I've seen how these people don't care about anything. So my first thing is seeing how it's all going down, and I just pray for the president. But I also am thinking, man, I really pray not just for the president's health. I not just pray for the president's safety, but I also pray for the president's team. I hope he does not have snakes around him, because as soon as this happened, they said they're putting him on remdesivir, which is the Gilead Science drug. It's pretty new. It's the one that Fauci liked and Bill Gates was talking about, because when Trump started talking about hydroxychloroquine, everybody hated it. Lancet Studies did a whole fake thing and they had to retract it. I mean, they did not want Trump talking about this drug. I'm not even sure if I could talk about it on live stream. They might shut it down. So they put him on the Gilead Sciences remdesivir drug, which all of Big Pharma seems loving because it costs a lot more and hopefully it works very well. And then, I listened to the doctor today and he said, I tried to put Trump on oxygen, but Trump said no. And I'm thinking to myself, thank God President Trump said no. He's a healthy guy. He's maybe physically not the healthiest, but mentally super healthy. And he didn't want to take the oxygen. And I was thinking even before, I was like, they better not try to put him on a ventilator or do that. So I don't know what they're talking about the oxygen. Maybe that's not what they were mentioning, but he had the common sense to be like, no, I'm good. And he decided to go to the hospital. They said he's super sick, super this. And from the reports that I saw that were trusted, because every journalist on the planet, they hate the president so much. Orange man bad. Jim Carrey says Joe Biden's cool, whatever. Kay McMinnon said Hillary Clinton's a superhero. Oh my God, she does backflips and does karate. No, this is SNL programming. They don't even do comedy. It's programming. It's like Joe Biden's really cool. Hillary Clinton's really cool. She's a ninja. Tulsi Gabbard's a demon, even though Tulsi Gabbard's way nicer than them. And then it's like Kamala Harris is cool like Maya Rudolph. It's not even humorous. It's like programming. It's trying to, when you go to the voting booth, instead of voting for Kamala Harris, they want you to vote for Maya Rudolph. You're like, Hillary Clinton does backflips and she's like a super ninja like Steven Seagal. No, that was SNL lying to you, but whatever. So, they're doing their thing. The media is just trying to report that he's dying, this and that every 2 seconds. But from what I've heard, the president wanted to go somewhere where he could talk to people. He wants to live life. And I hope this is a huge message to not only the lockdowns of DeBlasio that we're going to get into, but how we've been treating our elderly, because Trump is the age of a lot of people's grandma and grandpa. And this idea that we've had, I've heard two ideas, which has been either just lock everybody up, lockdowns, quarantines, masks. And then you have the people say, let's let the healthy people roam throughout society and let's just lock down the immune deficient and the elderly. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're 70 years old or 80 years old, now you lose your freedom just because you're old. I've talked to my grandma. I'm talking to my aunt, my great aunt. She's in her 80s. And she likes human interaction like anybody. I talked to her for an hour and a half. It was a beautiful thing. I got to ask questions about my lineage. She's Italian, and I learned a lot about my great-grandfather who came here, and he started a trash business because no one wanted to do trash. That's my white privilege. My great-grandfather came from Italy and started a trash business because no one wanted to do trash, and he sold it, and then he got his wife, came back here, worked hard his whole life, and then his kids and his kids' kids, everyone worked hard, including me, and then Mark Zuckerberg steals all my money. Thanks, Mark. You're such a good guy. But anyway, I'm talking to my family members, and it's not healthy for elderly to be isolated. So it's not good for you. So Trump has the common sense. He's a workhorse, and he doesn't sleep that much. He sleeps like 5 hours a day. He likes to keep it going. It's like a car. If you shut down your car in the winter, it's harder to start your car again. You don't want to completely shut down society. You don't want to completely shut down the elderly. I understand that you don't want the elderly to catch the virus, but at a certain point, you have to ask yourself what Trump asked everybody earlier in April: is the cure worse than the virus? If the lockdown cure kills more people than the virus does and kills more things in society that eventually will lead to the excess death of more people, then it's not worth it. So I think we need to get our freedom back in this country, because Trump is the president, so he was allowed to do more, go to the hospital, walk around. But a lot of these elderly people, they don't want him doing anything. But Trump knows, he has that spirit where he's like, I don't want to lay and act like I'm dead for a week and a half, because that's how you die. That's how you get more sick. When I used to get sick and lay around all the time, I used to keep getting sick and sick and sick for like months. You get strep throat. Now, I haven't got sick in 3 years because I keep it moving. It's like a car that you want. So he knows that. That's why he's like, don't give me oxygen. Let me do work. Let me walk around. He's a workhorse. But having a schedule keeps you alive, and having, a purpose in your life is very important to your life and your survival. So they've destroyed millions of jobs, locked elderly people in. They're treating my grandma like a prisoner. I have to wait a week and a half to even see her because they have all these crazy policies. This is not necessarily healthy. I mean, I get they're trying to do the right thing, but at a certain point, treating the elderly like prisoners and slaves is not going to save as many lives as you think. It's going to kill people. There's already reports of people dying of loneliness, and a community is important for these people. It's like at a certain point, once you shut somebody off and throw them in a basement for 2 years, it's not good. So I'm glad that Trump is moving. It seems like he's doing better, and it seems like he's going to get out and be fine. And, I think if people looked at the data, I can't tell you offhand, I don't have the numbers up in front of me, but it's something like a 99-point-something% survival rating. And this is for all age groups. And of course, if you're elderly, you're more likely to die. But overall, this virus is like barely doing anything to kids, barely doing anything to young adults, barely doing anything to 30s or 40s, barely doing anything to 50s or 60s. Once you get in the 80, 90, 70 range, like, yeah, you're a little closer, but it's still not that bad. And you have to understand, I know it's not a good virus, but if you understand how they're counting, everybody with COVID-19 that dies, they're saying died from COVID-19. They don't care if you died of cancer. They don't care if you died of AIDS. They don't care if you got hit by a car. If you had COVID-19 in your system, they're putting it as a COVID-19 death. You could get your kidneys ripped out, and they'll say it was COVID-19 if you had it. So if the numbers are this low, even with them counting like that, you can imagine how the numbers would be if they tried to count more accurately. And you have to ask yourself, what's worth this shutdown? Do masks really, stop the spread? No, a few people from the White House got COVID with a mask on, because they've never said, and this is something people don't even understand, a mask stops you from sneezing. If you're sick, it's good to wear a mask so you don't get it all over the place. But as far as, blocking oxygen, unless you have a super, filtering mask, it's not really doing that much. So, and then you're fiddling with it, like Fauci said at the beginning of the year. This is becoming more making people feel good than it is actually effective. And you can see in Sweden, the herd immunity is working much, much better than what they've done in all the Western lockdown countries. And I think we're going to talk about DeBlasio and the Pope. I think a lot of people need to really understand and think about who's pushing what's going on and what they want to get out of it. I'm reading a book right now. I have the name of it because I forgot yesterday. I didn't have it in front of me. It's called COVID-19, The Great Reset. It's written by Klaus Schwab, and it's about the Great Reset. And he is the founder of the World Economic Forum, which they go to. George Soros goes to every year. They have Davos every year. It's a big billionaire, bigwig, left liberal place where they all go and they plot out how they see the world and how they want to do it. So he wrote a book, and I'm reading it, and his worldview is what he believes in. I find liberals and communists in general very weak, because the one thing that they don't understand is they don't seem to know how to run a city, and they don't seem to know how to stop crime. They remind me of like a 5-year-old. Even actually most 5-year-olds are smarter, but it's like they're like, no borders, no walls, no securities. It's like then you're going to end up like LA and Portland and south side of Chicago, where they're totally incapable of stopping violent crime because they don't know why it's happening. They don't know how it's happening. They could throw $1 trillion at it and it's not going to go away. So these people, the worldview of Klaus Schwab and Dr. Fauci and Bill DeBlasio and Gavin Newsom and all these people, I respect their right to have different politics than me, but their idea is you can't disagree with me. Facebook will shut you down. We'll stop you from doing that. Your protests are illegal. Our riots are legal. And we're just going to push this and force this on you, and it's going to work. It's not going to work. I'm reading the COVID-19 Great Reset, but the point I'm getting to is these people aren't just trying to protect our health. I think they're trying to push forward their political agenda and use this as a means to force it. I can back that up by Pope Francis recently. I'm on CNN Business. Pope Francis disparaged so-called trickle-down economic theory, says the pandemic has shown that free market policies cannot solve all of humanity's most dire needs. He's talking about free market capitalism reproduces itself, and it's a magical theory of spillover and trickle-over. So the Pope, and I've said this for a while, I try to not overuse the word, but now that I've read Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, I realize that a lot of people are really communist. It's not like just me overdoing it, like everyone's a Nazi. Like, no, there's barely any Nazis left at all. Like neo-Nazis, there's like 50 of them in their basement like playing with each other, but as far as like a real Nazi movement, it just doesn't exist. But what does exist in this country is a communist movement, and Karl Marx and rather I would say Stalin and people like Lenin, they killed millions of people. They killed even more people than Hitler did, yet no one seems to talk about this ideology because it actually exists, and it has 20 times, if not 200,000 times as much power as Nazism does. And if it were equal, I'd talk about both, but they talk about that all the time. It's like they have no systemic power besides maybe like Werner von Braun funded the space program or something. But anyway, these people are really communists. Like Pope Francis, he's talking bad about capitalism. He probably believes in communism. The COVID-19 Great Reset guy, these people believe in the theories of Karl Marx, which have failed every time. And it's not hard to see how they fail. I have to explain. I've done it before, but if you read the Communist Manifesto, one of the things they want to do, the main thing they want to do is no private property. They don't believe in private property. And this is now a mainstream liberal idea. Maybe not amongst Democrat voters who think Joe Biden's going to return to normal or something, but if you look at what Instagram's doing, if you search for communism, all the things that pop up under the GIF where you can post things on your Instagram story, it's all pro-communism. It says no rent, don't pay rent. You have Instagram, one of the most powerful tech companies in the world that has one of the most biggest influences on your children. It's more of like a, everybody uses Instagram, but it has a younger demographic than Facebook. They're promoting communism as if it's a good thing and saying capitalism's a bad thing. And they're saying, don't pay rent, don't do this. They believe in the Communist Manifesto, which means abolish all private property. Give all of the media to the government. And they want to take over the government. And if they can't take over our government, they're trying to anyway. They're saying, well, the UN is the new government. The Pope is going to decide what you do. The Pope is funding caravans at the border. And this is the most frustrating part. You have the Facebook fact checkers and these people. They're saying fact check false. The Pope is not, and the Vatican is not funding these migrant caravans. Google Pope migrant it's no secret. It's in CNN. It's on Vatican News. It's in every mainstream publication. The Pope absolutely did fund migrant caravans. He gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to migrants at the border who came and were stuck there on caravans because they weren't allowed past our border security because of the law in our country. That's not a conspiracy theory. That doesn't need to be fact-checked. Oh, Anomaly got fact-checked. Your fact-checkers liars. Google what I just said, and every single mainstream publication on the planet covered this, and nobody's denying it except for like PolitiFact, which is a rigged organization anyway. I did a whole video on that 2 years ago and how they get money from the Knight Foundation, who works with the Clintons. Whole different story. You can watch that video, but in general, the Pope is like a communist. He's an anti-America, anti-West, anti-liberty, anti-libertarian, anti-conservative communist. He thinks capitalism's bad, and this is the devious thing that they do. They destroy society the most. Trump has some hand in it because he was the president. So do the individual states. But if you take Trump away from it, and you looked at every state, which states are destroying their economy? Florida opened up Disney World, but California won't open Disneyland, and they're laying off tens of thousands of workers. Why? Because Gavin Newsom's a Democrat and Ron DeSantis is a Republican. And, New York and New Jersey still have the most deaths per capita, way worse than Florida or Texas. Texas's economy is doing better than California's as far as during COVID and getting jobs back because it's a Republican. So the communists, the liberals, the leftists, the Marxists, whatever you want to call them, they're the ones destroying the economy. They're the ones that aren't allowing it to thrive. And then they blame capitalism. They implement their communist ideas and their totalitarian ideas and they say, oh, no, it's not working. You're the reason it's not working. It's people like the Pope that won't allow our democracy to flourish. He's funding people trying to invade our country. And then he's working with the UN and people who think they're above God and they're above Trump and they're above our own individual politics. They want to take over all of Europe. They want to completely dominate America as the global government that decides everything. And the reason that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these media companies are shutting down dissent, right out of the Communist Manifesto, he wants control of all media. This is not for the working person. This is a very sly guy who convinced a bunch of working people that giving the government the media, giving the government all transport, giving the government all the central banks, making a central bank so they centralize all the money in one position that the government owns, abolishing private property, somehow that's going to give you a bunch of freedom? Of course it's not. And these people, the communists, the leftists, the liberals, the Democrats, these are the most incompetent people. They can't run Portland. They can't run Seattle. They can't run Los Angeles. They can't run New York City. They're running millions of people out of the state and the city, and then they're somehow going to watch the whole world? You think they'd be able to create peace in Africa or the Middle East or America? Of course not, because they're too weak. It takes somebody strong to go to south side of Chicago and be like, I mean, you would have to do some sort of like war zone thing because these people are killing each other in gang violence. How are you going to stop that from happening? You can't just go there with candy bars and free healthcare. They're just going to murder you. It's like the crime is not going to go down. The liberals don't understand, like, okay, be tough but kind. Be compassionate but don't be a total weakling. It's like if someone showed up at your house to do something and you're just like, hey, come on in. I baked you pumpkin pie. It's like be nice, but at a certain point you gotta be a little tough. You gotta be a little kindness is not weakness, and being a fool does not mean you're, compassionate. They don't get that. So these people can't win elections, clearly, or else they would just win this one in November, and they want to just take everything. So the Pope, Bill DeBlasio, they destroy, more lockdowns coming, even though the first one didn't work, locking down, destroying businesses, treating people like prisoners, and then they have the audacity to turn around and say, oh, capitalism failed. Oh, what do you know? Capitalism doesn't work. If all the states were Republican, we would have had a 2 or 3 week shutdown, and then we probably would have opened up, and the country would look a lot differently. For certain, this is all the riots, all the smashing of businesses. Portland's still rioting every single day. Riot, riot, riot. It's an out-of-control city. They can't control their own constituents, and they blame capitalism when it's literally all the areas they control. The Pope has some nerve. I'm sorry, but I think he works for the devil, not God. God bless the Pope. God bless Catholics. I love my Catholics as a Christian myself, but the Pope does not seem like he's serving Jesus Christ to me. He's a sneak, and he's definitely getting involved in politics. But it's crazy. If you're in the New York City area, God bless you. It looks like they're locking up the Ben House, Mapleton, Flatlands, Midwood, Borough Park, Gravesend. I don't even know, East Rockaway. You got to look at, they have all these zip codes that they're gonna do a second shutdown. So that's my story of the day. I'm gonna answer some questions. I see you guys asking some stuff. I'll stay for probably like half hour, 45 minutes, and once again, God bless the president. I hope he gets better soon. The Pope is a communist who doesn't agree with capitalism, and DeBlasio is locking down New York City again. Someone said, do you think we're getting a second stimulus package? I have no idea. Probably, but at a certain point, I don't know. They just got to open this country back. Like you can't hide from something forever. At a certain point, we're going to have to face it. And I think we've done that, and we've leveled back to where we're going, but we're going to go right back in the wrong direction. But when people understand, if you read their books, if you understand that this is not a coincidence, like, they're not incompetent, like, oh my God, we don't know what we're doing. They just pretend to be incompetent. They know exactly what they're doing. Years ago, people like Bill Gates and people at Davos and at the World Economic Forum, they hate nationalism. They want global communism. They want a one world, and this is not a conspiracy theory. They brag about it. They want to control, there's multiple articles about it. They want to control everything. They don't like a Trump or a Bolsonaro or a Salvini in Italy. Somebody who says, you know what, we're going to govern ourselves, okay? You're not doing a good job. We're going to govern ourselves. They hate that. So they want control. They want power. They're using this whole year as a way to consolidate power, to control more media, to shut down dissent, and to use it as an excuse to do everything that they want to do politically and socially and environmentally. And as somebody who loves the environment, as somebody who loves every ethnicity, you know, as far as I love good people of every ethnicity, not everybody, you know, content of character. If you're a good person, you know, I love you. If you're not, I probably don't. I still love you, but, you know, I don't want wicked people around me of any ethnicity. But in general, I agree with what they pretend to agree with, but I see their game plans, and these are incompetent or at least just evil people where I don't know exactly what they're doing. Maybe they're really dumb, maybe they're really smart and just connive people, but overall, we don't have to agree with it. If we vote for Trump and Brazil votes for Bolsonaro, you're supposed to govern yourself. Gavin Newsom should be governing California. Phil Murphy should be governing New Jersey. They don't even know what they're doing in their own states, and they think they can do everything else. It's like, focus on yourselves. That's exactly what we need, turning in and more communal stuff. But people like the UN, the Pope, Bill DeBlasio, it's not just like random, oh, we're going to shut things down. They have a game plan, and their game plan is total control by any means. All right, let's answer some questions and we'll take off. And as always, just letting you guys know, once again, Facebook has demonetized my whole page. If you're a Facebook supporter, you can stay, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what they're doing. They won't let me talk to you. If you want to stay, that's fine. I appreciate it. If you want to leave and go to Patreon, that's fine. If you want to leave and don't do anything, that's fine too. I understand, but I just want to, and I have some deals in the works with Newsmax and someone else. There's, you know, I have some business deals in the works. I might get my own TV show. So, you know, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be fine, but I do know how these people operate, and they want to suck me dry, and they want to take away my audience and take away my resources, but I'm not worried about it. Whether people subscribe or not, I'll figure out a way, but I appreciate people who do. Did I see Trump go and drive by all the Trump supporters today? I did. He wants to live his life. He wants to be alive. You know, they want him to just sit and lay down and cry for weeks, but he won't do it. He wore a mask. I'm sure he was protected, but you know, I love the president. I support him. You know, I'm tough on him sometimes. I think what he did during coronavirus was whack, but it's an impossible task they threw at him. I was heavily critical of Trump this year, more than most. But he's a good guy. He's not who they say he is. He's not this orange man bad. He's a good soul. He means the best, and he's the strongest American leader we've had in my lifetime. So I pray that he gets better. I pray that he wins the election. And I know that he knows how evil these people are. So he's a strong guy. It's like a movie. You know, you can't take this guy out. So he'll be back to normal in a week, and I pray for him. And I want to talk real quick before I answer another question about Melania's audio. Melania doesn't say much. She almost seems like she's robotic because she just never says anything, and she doesn't speak that good of English. But I heard her leaked email. So one of her snake friends, that's not a friend. If you call me, I'm not recording the call. That's a friend. A snake records the call. Her snake released a phone call of Melania a couple days ago, and it made me love Melania. I've always thought she was beautiful, but it made me realize she's the real deal. That's why Trump married her. She's cursing. I mean, not that you have to curse, but she's just saying the liberal media lies. I care about the kids at the border, but they won't tell the real story. They released it like it was supposed to make Melania look so bad. They were like, oh my God, we got her. And it just made me realize, oh, she's actually a real person. She's not this like robotic politician she pretends to be. She's the real deal, you know? So they always try to attack the Trump family, and it just makes me like them more. So congrats on Melania. That's probably going to make her more popular than ever, because that whole phone call just made her seem like one of your friends. That's just like, the liberal media's lying. They won't treat me fair. I could go to Fox, but why would I? I was like, you go, Melania. Not just beautiful, but she's got a brain too. Yeah, I don't trust this that's going on either. I mean, we know they don't want Trump to win. We know they don't want to debate again. We know that they want to block Amy Coney Barrett by any means necessary. We saw what they did to Kavanaugh. Nothing's off the table. They can say it's off the table. They'll steal your money when you say it's on the table, but it is what it is. I'm not the only one who they did this to as well. They've done this to millions of people this year. That's why I can't really complain. I can't say, oh no, Facebook took my money. the global sneaky people have taken away millions of people's jobs this year. So, they're doing it to everybody. So the more they attack, the more votes he gets. We'll see what happens. I mean, someone said Melania is supposed to be a genius. She knows a bunch of languages. She just, her English is broken, so nobody ever knows what she's really doing because she doesn't talk that much. But she probably is like a super genius fox who just helps Trump from the sidelines. All right, I'm gonna read some comments and get to some questions, and then we'll take off. I appreciate you guys for watching. As long as I can, as long as they don't kick me off or whatever, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'll be making videos just as much as normal. I'm just visiting my family and visiting my grandma, my great aunt, making my rounds to do that before Christmas time. Where can we support you best? Said Jeff. Jeff, I would say the best way is probably Patreon. It's tough, though, because Patreon has kicked people off, too. Facebook's kicking people off. I would say that if you want to play it as safe as possible, patreon.com/raretalk pinned to the top. That's the safest way. Facebook's in the balance. It's up to you, but I would say Patreon right now is what I'm going to be promoting the next couple months. And I'm hoping to build that to what I had my Facebook at, because I'm not going to say how much, but the amount of ad revenue they took away from me is disgusting. I mean, these people are demons, but it's okay. That's all they have. All they have is control, power, and money. They can't figure out why I'm doing so much better than their news station, so that's fine. I'm used to feeling like David versus Goliath. I knew the path would not be easy. So God is great, life is good, and I'm very grateful to be where I'm at. Things could always be better, things could always be worse, but I'm very blessed, so it is what it is. Bring it on, demons. Someone said, why hasn't Congress done anything to Facebook for the censorship of conservatives? It's a good question. I don't think they took it very seriously for the first 3 years. I think they didn't start taking it seriously until Trump started getting censored himself. I don't think they understood how big of a threat it was. I don't think they understood that what was going to happen. Honestly, I think Trump is a nice guy, and I think he just wanted to let these people off the hook. He's just like, whatever, you lost the election, I won, I'll do my thing, just leave me alone. But they won't leave him alone. So I think he started taking it seriously a few months ago. As far as the GOP, the best thing about the GOP is that they're not the Democrats. And it sucks to play this lesser of two evils game, but if you have a Republican senator or a Republican, congressman or whatever, the best thing is that they support the Trump agenda sometimes, and they aren't Democrats in the sense of, like, they don't completely destroy your city. Like, if Giuliani was the governor of, or the mayor, rather, of New York City, that city would not look the same. Like, Republicans at bare minimum seem to keep the city and the state together somewhat. But the GOP is mostly pretty pathetic. I mean, what did they condemn? They condemned QAnon the other day. That's what they're doing. A lot of Q people annoy me because they're just kind of annoying. But they don't condemn Black Lives Matter barely ever. I've never seen them condemn Antifa. I've never seen them really do anything about human trafficking or anything. And then they just condemn a group of people on Twitter who just, are annoying sometimes. But at the end of the day, really just actually have a good message. I just don't know if they say it the right way all the time. But it's like condemning. It's like it's like, guys, why don't you stop big tech? You're condemning an internet group that is researching things and making bad predictions sometimes. Like that's their number one thing that they're doing. The GOP is kind of pathetic, but the Democratic Party is like a 0 out of 10. The GOP is like a 3 out of 10, and Trump's like a 9.5 or something. I don't know. I don't know. These are just my ratings. So they're mostly kind of pathetic. I don't know. Do I think it's possible that the election will be rigged to accomplish their goals? Well, I think everybody, and this is the thing, they're so crazy on the fact checkers. They're trying to say that nothing about this election's different. It's all the same. If you say this election's different, you're going to be deleted. So I don't even know what I can talk about anymore. They've taken all my revenue. I mean, most of my money came from Facebook. They've taken most of it. And then I'm in a position now where I don't know what else they're going to do. What are they going to do? Delete my page? Delete all my... I don't know what these people are going to do, but if you look at how this election's going, it's nothing like any other election. In New Jersey and a few other areas, they're making it so you can't go to the polls. You're not allowed to go to the polls, and then they all give you a ballot, and then everybody votes from home. But usually you request your own ballot. They don't just mail your ballot home even if you don't request it. What they're doing is totally different. And with the ballot harvesting and counting votes for 3.5 weeks, I don't trust it. In Orange County, California, it seemed like Republicans were gonna win, and then they counted votes for 3.5 weeks, and then all of a sudden Democrats won the whole thing. So, I mean, could it have been that way? Of course. But do I trust it? No, I don't trust 3.5 weeks of waiting with ballot harvesting. This whole thing is ridiculous. But, you know, it could backfire the other way as well. So we'll see what happens. But of course, I have a feeling that this election is going to be heavily contested. They're going to drag it out for weeks. They're going to censor people who say Trump won, because most likely on election day, maybe not, but Trump will probably be ahead in votes. And then they're going to, this is the bad part, is if Trump's ahead, they can look at it and figure out exactly how much he's ahead. Well, he's ahead 300,000 in Pennsylvania. And then they have 3.5 weeks to count votes. So they've already been caught in certain areas, Minnesota and others, ballot harvesting. So here's how you could do that. If in New Jersey they say you can't go to the polls, everybody gets a ballot. They send ballots to everybody. They send ballots to nursing homes. You could figure out who's dead, who doesn't check their mail. People could go and grab all the ballots, and you could be sitting on thousands of ballots or hundreds of ballots in different areas, and you could wait, and you could fill them out and put them somewhere. I mean, it's not that hard to do. It's illegal. You should go to jail. I wouldn't advise it, obviously. But, of course, I mean, this election method is insane. Tulsi Gabbard is the only Democrat that I've seen that actually cares about fair elections. She's been pushing for paper-backed ballots for 2 years. Say what you want about Tulsi Gabbard. Don't agree with her politics. I love her foreign policy, actually. I think she's pretty good at it. But overall, she actually cares about fair elections. She's been saying this is all crazy. She's just like Trump. She's like, I've been for 2 years passing the fair elections, whatever, trying to get this to be a fair election. They don't want a fair election. So, you know, all they do is censor. We live in like a 1984 nightmare where they can do whatever they want. They could lie, they could cheat, they could steal, they can destroy, they could censor, they can take away your freedom, your liberty, your constitution. And if you dare disagree with them, that's a thought crime. If you think it, that's a thought crime. If you say it, that's a speech crime. It's such a joke. But the one thing that I can say is I'm using it for motivation, and I'm writing a book about it. It's going to be out by Christmas, and I'm writing a book about the words that they use to control people, and I'll probably add, you know, that in there as well, maybe something about the election, but it's going to be about the words racist, sexist, xenophobic, all these games that they play in order to frame the conversation in a way that shuts everybody else down, and how they don't even stand up to their own standards, you know? So I'm going to hone all the lies that they're doing and put out a book of truth, and it's going to be fantastic. So, you know, I don't let them get me down. I don't care. I think Trump is going to pull it out. I pray. Someone said vote in person. Yeah, I'm voting in person. I'm allowed to where I'm at. I'm going to read this. Mike said, anomaly, kind of personal question, but have you ever feared for your life doing what you do? No, not really. I mean, there's been bad times like in anything. There's highs and lows, but overall, everything comes at a cost, but I don't fear. I'm not a very fearful person, and I think you learn a lot as you go, like you do with any job or any career, and, you know, you adapt and evolve. There have been times where certain things I saw, you know, I wish I didn't see and such. But as far as, I think even with this COVID thing, it's similar to like, people look at what I do. Not everybody. I think most people are probably like, maybe that's a good job. But some people, it's like you scare yourself. Like COVID's not good, but it's not like you have to worry for 20 years. Like you're more likely to die in a car accident than, you know, to a lot of this other stuff. Or like people are afraid to swim because they're afraid of sharks. it reminds me of that, where it's like my biggest threat in my life is not what I say. I don't think it's not. I think it's more like driving. Like driving is very dangerous, and certain things like that. There's so many diseases, and I'm not even talking about COVID. I'm just talking about like cancer. I don't like to think about them and even let them into my aura. But I think people scare themselves, and I think that's how they win. Everybody's afraid of the backlash. Everybody's afraid to say something because they're afraid of the the consequences of sticking out. But I think I've always been a rebel. I was a bad kid in school. I'd quite often get detention saying funny stuff. So I've always kind of been like, I've been very true to myself. I've always said like, I'm going to say it. If I think it's true, even to this day, like, I don't care. And I think it paid off. So, I'm more blessed, I think, than stressed. I'm grateful that my attitude and my perseverance and maybe my stubbornness at times has actually really paid off. I'm 30 years old, about to be 31 this month. My birthday's in October, and I'm doing pretty well for myself, even with Facebook taking my money. So I'm pretty content. And just letting you guys know too, my email. If you're on my email list, emails coming out. I should have said at the beginning, emails coming out in the morning. So Monday morning, if you're on my email list, everybody check your email. I'm letting you guys know what's going on Facebook. But then I also have black and pink God is Great hats on dreamrare.com. So if you're signed up to my email list, check your email tomorrow. It should come like 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. Someone said, I'm currently suffering consequences of speaking truth. It's tough. I mean, in some ways, I'm actually positioned better than other people because everyone knows what I say and think. I've made it clear for years. Some other people, even some of my friends in work, like their bosses are insane. Their friends are insane. So I think it's not just me. I think I do it maybe to a big extent, but a lot of people have to deal, like, even in my own family and friends and people that I know that, like they vent a lot in the sense of the amount of crap that everybody has to deal with, from their bosses, from their friends, from random people who just come up and assume how they think because they're a certain ethnicity or something. It's astronomical. So I think everybody who isn't brainwashed and doesn't just like fall into whatever the media says, I think everybody kind of feels a sense of discomfort right now. It's even if you simply, like, I'll see somebody with a Trump flag on their lawn, and I'm like, that's bold. It's bold just to have a Trump flag on your lawn. That's a bold, that's almost bolder than what I do. Like, and it shouldn't be, but that's the world we live in. Sure, thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the comments. I'll try to read a few more questions or comments, and then I'm going to take off. What do I think about Florida opening? It's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I think every state should open. I don't think there's that, personally, I don't think there's any data that suggests that lockdowns are good. I don't think they work. I really don't. I don't think the mask mandate works. I don't think lockdowns work. Out of all of that, most of Africa didn't do what America did. And they told everyone, Africa's going to be so bad. Africa's going to be so bad. They're not. The top 7 or 8 countries that have the most deaths per capita, they all had really strong lockdowns. Peru had the strictest lockdown and the worst results. The only country that had worse results are San Marino, and it doesn't really count because it's so small, so the death per capita is enormous because they, depending how they test. Peru had the worst results with the biggest lockdown. What does that tell you? Where's the country with no lockdown? Did the country with no lockdown have the most deaths? It doesn't exist in the data point. The top 8 countries all had lockdowns. There is no astronomical if you don't lock down. It's healthier. It's healthy to go to the gym. It's healthy to go outside. It's more healthy to be smart. Wash your hands. You know, if you're sick, wear a mask. I'm totally fine with that. If you're afraid, wear a mask. Because you know what? It is actually good. If you're sick, you shouldn't be, going all over the place. You should wear a mask and probably stay away from people. And that's fine. But this mandate, this locking down society, it doesn't work. You're just delaying the inevitable. And to be honest, if your country's unhealthy, they're never going to deal with the virus well. So the fact that America is an unhealthy country, there's a lot of obesity in America. There's a lot of comorbidities. There's a lot of people on pills. If you really want to help the health of the country, everyone should go on a diet. And then we deal with COVID-19 better. You can't just hide. And now domestic abuse is on the rise. Child abuse is on the rise. Suicides is on the rise. Unemployment's on the rise. Obesity's on the rise. That's not going to help with COVID-19. Either the thing's going to go away with herd immunity. Maybe it's going to disappear. Maybe it doesn't. But either way, we have to get over it. And one of the best ways to do that is face it. Smart, be reasonable, but at the same time, I'm glad that Florida's opening. I think that's smart. Ron DeSantis, I don't agree with his little school bill, but besides that, I think Ron DeSantis is one of the best governors in the country. I think he said they're never locking down again, and he's smart. There is no data that suggests lockdowns save lives. If you look at the chart, when most people died in New York City and in New Jersey, it's when they locked down. You could ask why that happened. Was it mismanagement of, nursing homes? Was it just over-testing or being dishonest with the test? There's many reasons, but I don't see any data that says, during the lockdown, the virus went away. And it's the opposite. It's like we locked down, a bunch of people died, and then they let people outside and less people died. Maybe it's because locking people in the house like prisoners is a death sentence. So I don't think lockdowns work at all. I know they don't work. It's like you're hiding from a virus. Does the mask work? Does it not work? Does this work? Go on the airplane, take it off for 30 minutes. What's the science behind I can eat without my mask, but then I have to put my mask back on? Well, if I eat for an hour, I can take my mask off for an hour. If I eat for 5 minutes, there's a lady kicking my seat saying, put your mask back on. Put your mask back on. It's like, lady, what's the difference? I eat for 10 minutes, I'm eating. I eat a pretzel, I put it down. There's no science that says everyone has to wear a mask except for when you're eating, and it doesn't matter how long you eat. This is not science. This is anti-science. This is a conspiracy theory. It's like, I can eat for an hour with no mask on, but if I don't eat and take my mask off for 30 seconds, I'm killing everybody on the airplane. This is the dumbest thing. We should be riding hoverboards and flying to Mars, even though it's not even possible probably. And that's what we should be doing. Not this. This is ridiculous. So yeah, I think Ron DeSantis is one of the better governors out there. I think he should probably win re-election. And maybe I'll move to Florida. Someone said, are the COVID numbers exaggerated any? Absolutely. If you want to see how, while they're still up, watch my videos how they're counting cases and how they're counting deaths. I'll give you a quick minute rundown of how they're exaggerated. Anybody with COVID-19, anybody that tests positive for COVID-19 and dies, even if they're 100% sure that they died of another cause, they're still counting it as a COVID-19 death. So all the deaths you see doesn't mean they died from COVID-19. It means they died with COVID-19. But it doesn't even mean they had COVID-19, because a lot of the people who are testing positive never even had the virus. They don't know. Their list, I have a whole video on it. If you cough and you tell them you were at an event with somebody with COVID-19, they can give you a positive test. They could say you tested positive without even getting a test. Thousands of people were added to the death list in New York. And this is when I stopped reading the numbers. I was all over the numbers for the first month. And then it said, this was a New York Times article, thousands of people added to the death toll that never had a COVID test. They're being so loose with testing and so loose with the death counts. It's insane. I've been saying this since March, so I feel like a revolving door. But me and Elon Musk are like the only two people explaining this, and everyone else is just like, China did it. China did it. China. It's like, this maybe, but also at the same time, it's just a joke. It's a joke. Someone said, I can't believe they demonetized you on Facebook. They're idiots. What's their reasoning? Their reason was I got fact-checked too many times, so I'm false news. So I messaged Facebook because I have somebody there who reaches out to partners. I said, name one time I got fact-checked and they were right. Name one time, because I've only been fact-checked maybe twice, and the one time they fact-checked me 3 times with things I never said. They're always like, well, I say the sky's blue, and they're like, well, the shade is yellow. And I'm like, I wasn't even talking about the shade. So they demonetized my whole page because they said I got fact-checked too many times. But they can't even name one time. I'm talking to legal counsel. I can't imagine. What did he lost it for fact checks. Which fact checks? Oh, we don't know because it really didn't happen. And the ones that did happen were completely wrong. They fact-checked a parody video I did 3 times. A joke comedy parody video. Fact-checked it 3 times. 2 of the 3 weren't even in the video. They made up something I never even said. These demons, they can't stop. They just want to steal money. They're like, there's like quarters going in their mouth. They just have to suck up all the money like little demons. Actually, they're losing money, but they're just liars. They're communist, demon, liar, coward, losers who can't even give me a straight answer. So why did they take it away? This has to be one of the weakest cases. They took down my live stream for a month for a message of peace and discussion from an imam, and now they take away hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars over the next 5 years from me over, they can't even tell me why. These people are such freaking losers. It's insane. They're so pathetic. Be liberal like me. It's like, no, I don't want to be like you. You're disgusting. Don't you want to live in Portland? Don't you want to live in Portland with me where they just burn things all the time? It's like, no. Don't you want your city to look like New York City and LA? With all the homelessness? No. Actually, you should clean up your own city. They're like, I have a studio. I work for Facebook in a studio in Los Angeles. Don't look at. It's like you work in the tower, and then there's just crap all over the street. You're like, well, I take the back door. I don't have to walk through crap. Such losers. I don't care. Take my money. I'll make more. I'll find a way to make more. People will subscribe to Patreon. I'll sell my book. I'll sell hats. I'll get a TV show. I'll sign a deal with a magazine. I'll figure out 1,000 ways to just laugh in your face. I don't care. When it happened, I wasn't even stressed for 1 second. I was annoyed, but I saw these demons. That's why I started selling hats. I see these demons from a mile away. You ever been trick-or-treating where you see a little kid dressed as a devil? Just start, and you just see him in the corner and you know he's coming. So it's like, I get it, trick-or-treat. It's Halloween season. Someone said, are there more deaths this year than most? I don't know. There's 2 telling things. Here's the thing. You could check the deaths this year at the end of the year. Were there more deaths this year? I'm not sure. But if there were, it doesn't necessarily mean COVID is killing that many people. Like, locking down and destroying the economy is also a big factor. So say more people die this year. They're going to be like, see, COVID. It's like, yeah, but you locking down, there's already evidence in the UK out of 6,000 excess deaths indoors or something like that. Most of them were non-COVID related. So people are dropping dead in their houses, and it has nothing to do with COVID. You can't, it's like just because more people died, if that happened, it doesn't mean it's COVID related. It could be all the reaction to the COVID and everything else they did. All the closing down hospitals and elective surgeries, that kills people too. Suicides, joblessness, that kills people too. So, but I doubt that the numbers are even going to be that different this year. They got a fake chart for everything though. Read the book How to Lie with Statistics and you'll understand how these people operate. Someone said you could write a series of books. Well, I'm started with my first one. I finally got motivated, and it has nothing to do with me. It's not a biography. It's not about me. It's strictly a book for the ages. It's a book of how they censor people. So I'm excited. It's almost done, and then I'm going to edit it myself and put it on Amazon or something. So whatever. I'll start selling books. I don't care. Maybe I'll write a second book called The Demons Who Took My Money, and I'll write it about how they demonetized my Facebook page. I don't care. The joke's on them. I'm a hardworking kid. I mean, I'm 30 now. I'm almost 31. I guess I'm not a kid, but I worked hard my whole young adult life, and I outperformed CNN and New York Times and Washington Post and all of these news stations by myself got to be one of the biggest pages on the biggest social networks in human history. 600 million views. So I don't care. What do they get? Yeah, take my money. That's fine. I don't care. I already beat you. I win. You lose. You're a demon. I'm working for God. It's okay. What do you want? You want more money? You want to rig more things? You want to cheat? You want to steal? You want to close down society? You want to cry? You want to wear a mask? What do you want to do? You want to lock elderly people in a home and put COVID-19 infected patients in there like Cuomo and then lie and say Trump did it? What do you want to do? You want to be like Gavin Newsom and not manage your forest and then blame it on climate change? What do you got? What tricks do you guys have up your sleeve? I don't care. I'm going to sell hats. Someone said if Amazon pulls a Facebook, then I'll have to find somebody who makes books by hand and will make the book. I'm in this for the long run. I don't care. As long as you guys show me love and support me, or at bare minimum watch what I'm doing, that's fine. Let them take away a book. They've already done it to other people. I'll sell more books then. I'll find a publisher. I don't care. I'm in it for the long haul. I don't roll over. I don't bend down. You take. I just multiply. So it's fine. If you ever watched the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, someone used to say something to him, and it used to tick him off. Like, they'd be like, hey, Michael, blah, 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 blah. And then he'd look at them, and then he'd internalize it, and then he'd go out and win a championship. That's like me. Take my money. Go ahead. I'll laugh in your face. I'll be like, I'm not going to roll over and say, oh, no, I lost all my money. I'm going to live in a hut. No, I saved money, okay? I put money in the stock market. Now I'm taking it out, and I'm putting it back in the bank. I saved money, okay? So I was ready for these demons. I knew they were going to do this. So I wasn't out buying cars and buying a bunch of stuff and clothes. No, I put it right in the bank. So I was waiting for this. I don't roll over. I don't say, oh, no, they took it. I'm done. I got to go back. No, I'm going to multiply, and now I'm going to have to win 5 championships. I'm going to have to be like Michael Jordan, win 6 championships in a row. Someone said to me, it's funny because the people who hate on me, like I even care, who hate on me were my friends from college. Like all my friends from college, they're like waiting to see me fail. So when I posted about Facebook demonetizing me, my one friend was like, oh, now you have to go get a real job. And people say that on Facebook too. Like, oh, now Anomaly has to get a real job. First of all, this is my job. People do news stuff. There's people on television who do half the work I do who get paid $5 million a year. This is my job, and I get paid to do it. But here's the funny part is they're like, oh, now Anomaly has to go get a real job. Joke's on you. No, I don't. I'm making enough money from hat sales and Patreon. I still don't have to do it. So joke's on you. I don't have to get a real job, but this is a real job. And if I had to get a real job, I have no problem doing it. I lived on a farm most of my adult life. I worked on a farm. I worked as a cashier. I worked as an overnight stalker. I worked at a marketing company. I worked as an intern. I've done it all. So I'm not immune to getting a real job, but I worked really hard. So even when they take my money, I still don't have to do it. So jokes on these people. Like, oh no, he's gonna have to get a real job. No, actually no. No, I don't. So sucks. Someone said that's rude. It's not. It's just people that are jealous or people that want to see you fail. You know, it's like some people watch LeBron to see him lose, or which I don't really want him to win either. But you get what I'm saying. Some people just it doesn't bother me. I'm not even remotely. I think it's funny. I'm just like no. He's like, you gonna get a real job? I'm like no, it's okay. I'll be good. I got too much hustle. It's fine. Yeah, I just joke about it. Someone said I'm deleting friends left and right. Is it really your friend though? It's like with Melania. I told all my friends, because I got all types of friends, if you're calling me as a friend, I'm not recording your call. If I'm recording your call, I'm not your friend. Melania didn't have a friend. She had a snake. So it's like, if your friends are getting all mad at your Trump support, they're not your friends. If someone's going to treat you like dirt because they're too dumb to figure out why you support the president, this is not a real friend. It's good. It's like people keep all these people around. these people I haven't seen since like since I was 20 years old. And then they post a black square. They're like, I posted a black square. I'm Martin Luther King. It's like, you haven't posted a picture since 2009. You post one black square that literally says nothing. Black square, because the media told me to post a black square. They're like, I must be Malcolm X now. Where do I sign up? Do I get a Nobel Peace Prize? Do I do a Million Man March? What do I do? Are we going to pass another Civil Rights Act or something? It's like, no, you didn't actually do anything. You're just following like Selena Gomez. Well, Selena Gomez told me to post a blue square, and I posted a black square. So, I mean, where do I pick up my award? I mean, I saved millions of lives, right? You're like, no, actually, you did nothing. You posted it to like 30 people. And even if you posted it to 1 million people, it's a black square. It doesn't say anything. It's literally posting nothing, which is kind of cool in itself. You know, they say silence is golden. If you've ever heard the Four Seasons song, they say, silence is gold. So, you know, maybe that's the beauty of it, is the fact that you said nothing. It is kind of revolutionary, but whatever. Someone said, like the chick who recorded Monica Lewinsky, great friend. Yeah, these are snakes. These are not your friend. All right, I'm going to stay for like 9 more minutes, and then I got to go. I'm going to have a tea with my friend. I like tea. Celebrity worship is so sad. Yeah, they're just so fake. I mean, it's such a fake little community they have. It's like, oh, Jim Carrey hates Donald Trump. He's a psychopath who just like, have you ever seen his paintings on Twitter? The dude's a total psycho. He's just drawing like Trump dying all the time. It's like, all right, Jim, we get it. You're a psycho. And they're like, he's going to play Joe Biden. And then we're going to say, it's like, we get it. We get it. We get your whole little scheme that you guys do. It's so funny. Oh, you're going to make fun of Trump? Let me guess. Orange man bad? Joe Biden man better than Trump man? It's like, oh, yeah. They try to mold reality. Like, SNL used to be parody and comedy. Now it's really just like programming. It's like Hillary Clinton is a ninja. Like, they tried to make Hillary Clinton look so cool. So when you went to the voting booth, you're voting for Kate McKinnon. They want you to vote for Jim Carrey and Maya Rudolph instead of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Like, oh, Jim Carrey. It's like, Jim Carrey seems like, in order to be that psycho in movies, you have to be that psycho in person. Like, Jim Carrey is that crazy. You're like, I always loved Jim Carrey movies, but now he's just like a rabid Trump hater. It's like, dude, calm down. And then, like, Eminem's like, that's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I stick it on Donald Trump? Probably not. It's like, all right, we get it, bro. You flew on the Epstein plane. You hate Donald Trump. We get it, guy. It's so annoying. Ugh. 7 more minutes. Oh, nice. The Lakers are losing. That's what's up. All right. A few more questions or comments I'm gonna read. Someone said Hollywood is funded by China now, so are the Bidens. I mean, China has some influence. They're definitely in the mix, but there's a bigger story going on. I think there's a few different angles, and then if you get to the top, it's just the devil. So I think, you know, China's on the lower scale. It's like these people, you know, China, and then you have these people, and then you go up, and it just leads right to the devil. Have you heard anything on the U.S. stance of what's going on in Armenia? I haven't, but I have to look into it because I love Armenians, man. Armenians keep, where do they live in LA? I don't know if it's Glendale or Burbank. I think it's Glendale. Glendale's awesome. It's just a bunch of Armenians, and it's super clean and it's super safe. So I support the Armenians. I don't know exactly what's happening though. I got to look into it. Thank you. God bless Nathaniel from the Philippines. I would love to go to the Philippines sometimes, brother. Maybe I'll be out there once all this crazy stuff ends. Do I think the Dems will win back the Senate? Anything is possible. I don't know. I mean, you look at the odds, the voting odds or the betting odds, and you look at the polls, they say that the Democrats are going to win, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I really wouldn't, I pray that Trump wins, but as far as the Senate and the House, from what I've seen, it looks like the Senate has a higher percentage chance of going Republican and the House doesn't, but I think anything's in play. Like, polls don't really matter because they don't poll enough people, and also most people don't want to admit they support the president. It's not even like they're afraid to tell you because they're ashamed of themselves. They're afraid to tell you because the left wing is more violent than the right. They're like the white supremacists. It's like, it's left-wing terrorists. Like, as far as white supremacy, the threat of that compared to the threat of people attacking you because you support the president or literally, like, burning down a Starbucks is a lot bigger. So I would think most of these polls are not very accurate. Who's going to answer and say, oh, I support the president? If they call you, it means they probably know where you live. You want somebody that randomly called, you don't even know who they are. They could be like a secret, communist or something. Be like, do you like Trump? So I don't think any of these polls are really accurate. I don't think they have a really big tip on it. I'll say this, and I've even said this before COVID, but here's the things that Trump has in his favor. Trump has in his favor, if you look at the key states, he's registered more people. Republicans have registered more people than Democrats have, so he's leading the registration that you can see. But also, a lot more people support the president since 2016, so that's going in Trump's favor, is the fact that he's got more people than he had in 2016. What's going against him is the pandemic, everything, blah, 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 but also the tech companies. And I've said this since 2018. They use something called machine learning, which is, a fancy word for like AI and how that operates, artificial intelligence, the smart computers they have running all these things. They're sucking data. They have everyone's data. So they're trying to figure out ways to get as many people that they think will vote for them to vote. And this pandemic just so happens to be the perfect thing for the Democrats. This is not perfect for Republicans. This is perfect for Democrats. Why? Because most dumb kids who are 18 to 24 who will vote for Biden or left wing, they're too stupid or lazy or not, prioritizing it. They usually don't vote. The young vote never comes out to vote. But you shut down the whole country, you force them to be home, they don't go to school, they don't have a job, and now you mail the ballot to their apartment. You get what I'm saying? Usually you request one and they mail it to you. Now what they're doing in some states is they're just mailing everybody ballots. So this works in their favor. You log into Snapchat, vote. You log into Instagram, vote. You log into Facebook, vote. You log into Twitter, vote. You log anywhere. Did you vote? Did you vote? Did you vote? So they're getting everybody to register to vote, more people than have ever registered. And then they're using all their algorithms to just drain people with anti-Trump propaganda. And then they're keeping everybody home. And then they're sending everybody a ballot, millions of people who wouldn't have requested a ballot on their own. So you get what I'm saying? That's going in the Democrats' favor. What's going in the Republicans' favor is the fact that Trump is just not a puppet, and I think he has more support than ever. So we'll see what happens, but it's like, it's a balance. It's such a show right now. I mean, Trump has all the energy, and then he gets COVID. It's a movie. Someone said Chris Wallace sold out completely by now. I've never liked Chris Wallace, and no offense, but I've never been impressed with his father, Mike Wallace. I hear from people even like Bill O'Reilly, Mike Wallace was the best reporter ever. I've seen interviews of him with Farrakhan. I've seen interviews with him from Morgan Freeman. Every interview I've seen of Mike Wallace, he seems very sneaky. He seems very disingenuous. He seems very phony. He seems very framey, like he's trying to frame the conversation. I've never liked Mike Wallace, and I've never liked Chris Wallace. This idea, like, oh man, he just really sold out now. He's never a real deal. No offense, but I don't think his family legacy, they're like he was the best reporter ever. Find me a Mike Wallace interview. So far everything I've ever seen from Mike Wallace has been just propaganda, and it was better than it was now. The framing of it, but to me, reporters are always trying to frame somebody. You get what I'm saying? Like with me, when I have interviews, I'm letting the people speak. Who are you? If I want to challenge them, I challenge them. But for the most part, what the media does, people like Chris and Mike Wallace, they're not trying to let you say what you want to say. They're saying, they frame it, you're this, you're an anti-Semite, you're a sexist, you're a racist, you're a white supremacist, you're a xenophobe, this, and then you're on the defense, and then they throw more stuff down your throat. They're not reporters, they're not journalists, they're like propagandists. They're like, this is who you are, this is how everybody should see you. No, you're not. And it's not fair. So I don't see them as ever really legitimate. They've always struck me as just like total phonies. But, whatever. The whole media is just unsustainable. Something has to happen. They need to stop being so terrible. Honestly, what Nick Sandmann did is the best thing to do. They completely, falsely framed Nick Sandmann for a crime he didn't commit, and he sued the crap out of them, and he won. That's really what needs to happen more. Because you have the freedom of speech, but they're constantly framing people and lying about people and character assassinating and defaming people. That's all they do, and they have no credibility. So I'm not impressed. I was never impressed with them. But someone said, do you think the new media stations will come out and take over? Well, I'll tell you this. I'll be honest. Newsmax, I told you guys a few times, but Newsmax, who's a conservative news network, me, and they want to give me my own television show, and I've been negotiating. I'm good at business, so I've been getting the price up because they offered a totally laughable price, and I'm just like, let's notch that up a little bit. Come on, this isn't preschool. So we got to a point where it's almost fair, and they're writing up a contract. So I'm gonna have a contract from Newsmax in my email probably next week, and we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna sign it. I'm gonna have to get some things taken out, but I might have a show on Newsmax. And if I have a show, it's going to be top notch. So if they let me on Newsmax and give me a show, then, maybe Newsmax can take the #1 spot, eventually if they make all the right moves. But it seems like Newsmax is trying to do that. They're trying to hire people who don't suck. I mean, if they try to hire me, they have good taste, clearly. But no, they hired Michelle Malkin. I think they hired Diamond and Silk. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but they seem like they have a vision. So, we'll see what happens. So it said I like right side broadcasting. Me too. They hired 2 of my friends. My one friend, Mike Nificent. I don't know what his real last name is, but Mike is a good guy. He's been smart. He's been a good guy. I helped him get some views, I think, on my other page on Facebook. I always saw his content, and I said, bro, this is great. Let me help you promote this or whatever. And, Mike got a job with Right Side Broadcasting. I'm not sure what he goes by, but look out for Mike. He's great. And he got a job. And Grace Saldana got a job with them recently, too. They do a good job streaming on YouTube and such, and I think they stream Bill O'Reilly now. Yeah, Right Side Broadcasting seems like they're making some moves. Newsmax is making some moves. We'll see. Beverly, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Someone said, Anomaly, don't let them Joe Rogan you, censorship. This is what I can promise you. I can't promise you the world, but I'm not censorable, guys. I'm not a liar. I'm not a coward. I'm not a sellout. It's not happening. If I sign any deal with anybody, I'm going to be my authentic self. If I can't be my authentic self, I'm not going to take the deal. I promise you that. I'm not going to pull a Joe Rogan. I'm not going to pull a Stephen Colbert. I'm not going to do any of these things. So if I work with Newsmax, I'm going to make sure I can say whatever I can say. If I can't, I'm not going to take the job. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to take a job that's going to force my hand on anything. It's not happening. So if they want to fire me, it's not going to happen. But, TV works with like monthly, 3 months, or, there's clauses and stuff. It's like if they don't like what I'm saying, they could terminate the service. I'll be fine. So I can promise you this. I can't promise you the world, but I will never sell out. I will never take a deal. I don't care if it's $100 million like Joe Rogan to say, oh, well, I'll delete 8 of my podcasts and then I'll pretend like I'll apologize to the media. I'm not apologizing to the devil. And I think, I like Joe, but I think he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't really, he's not religious, but also, he's apologizing to the devil's media. He's apologizing to these people who lie us into wars. They lie us into racial division. They lie us into social conflict. They've lied our country into literally basically a prison-like lockdown. All they do is lie. If you're going to apologize to them, first of all, make sure you're right. But second of all, make them apologize. I'll apologize to the media when they apologize for what they've done to humanity. They've inflicted so much pain, so much fear, so much unnecessary pharmacy pills, so much high fructose corn syrup. I'll apologize to the media when they apologize to me. So there's a 0% chance I'm selling out. You can have it in your head, because keep your eyes on me. If I start just lying, don't follow me. But that's not happening. They can't do it. I'm not buyable. I own 100% of everything. All the hat sales, I get 100%. I mean, the company who makes it gets it. All my ad revenue before they sold it for me, I get 100%. I don't even have a manager. My friend helped me manage for a little bit, but I even run my manager email. So I'm not for sale. I promise. Someone said both parties lie. Fact check, true. That's very true, Omar. Both parties do lie. Someone said you're just 31. Exactly. I'm very young. That's why I'm not mad. I mean, Facebook took a lot of money away from me, but to me, life is a journey, and I've taken a lot of risks. I've sacrificed a lot. I've been poor for a long time in my young adult life, and I've been smart. I saved money. I saw this coming, so I'm not going to cry over what I knew was going to happen, because Facebook and the people who fact check it are just totally unhinged. So I'm just going to laugh. I'm spending time with my family, and I had an amazing week. I didn't even spend 10 minutes being mad at Facebook. You saw me when they first happened. I'm annoyed at them, but I got to spend time with my family, people I love, and it was overall a net positive week. I don't even consider it negative. If I can spend time with my family and lose a lot of money, that's okay. I'll find other ways to get it back. And if I don't, it is what it is. I don't know. Like you said, I'm 31. I'm young, and I'm not. This is not like I'm 70 and they stole my retirement. I have time for them to do it 10 more times. Bring it on. Bring it on, demons. I got a scheme for all of your schemes. I got 20 tricks up my sleeve, so bring it on. I don't care. Someone said Newsmax could use someone like you. We'll see what happens. I like the guy from Newsmax that I'm talking to. I told him we got to go up. We got to make this worth it. That's one blessing to I've been independent since I was young. I had record deals when I was 19, and I looked at the contracts myself. I couldn't afford a lawyer, and my family really didn't help me. It's okay actually, because now I'm good at stuff, but I had record meetings with Sony, and I'm telling my mom and dad, I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm in Sony. They didn't even understand what's going on. They thought I was just a moron or something. I don't know. But I learned so much when I was 19. I learned contracts. I learned how to negotiate, because I didn't know anything when I was younger. So now that I'm 31, I've had 11 years of this. I can negotiate an entire contract for myself. I probably won't even need a lawyer. I'll read it myself. I'm grateful that I went through so much when I was younger, because I was getting these contracts thrown at me, and no one was helping me. But it's a blessing. I edit videos. I was never a video editor. I'm not a video producer. I got tired of people not doing videos for me, so I just did them myself. I taught myself how to video edit. All of the videos you see, I edit them 100% myself. I have no team. I have no manager. It's a blessing, So I'm young. I'm ready for these devils. I see what they're doing. I see how evil they are. They don't surprise me anymore. Someone said I have 1,000 stars. What do I do? You can't give them to me anymore. I don't know what to tell you. Ask Facebook for a refund. I cannot make a single dollar on Facebook ads anymore or stars, so they won't let me get it. But I want to say this before I go too. People, I follow a lot of people on Twitter. I use Twitter like I do Facebook or Instagram, but right-wingers weird me out when they act perpetually surprised. It's starting to weird me out. Like you saw, I just lost... I'm not going to beat around the bush. If I would have been moving up at the pace I was moving, if I would have done what I'm doing now for 3, 4 years, 5 years, I lost over $1 million in Facebook ads. If I was going to keep on this trajectory for 4 or 5 years, that's how much I lost over the next 4 or 5 years. Do you see me mad? No. Am I surprised? Oh my God. I'm not surprised. So the point I'm getting to is, why are right-wingers on Twitter every day acting surprised by everything that's going on? Oh my God, what the heck? Oh my God, I can't believe the Democrats did this. Oh my gosh, can you believe this? Pelosi did this. Oh, it's like, are you joking? Are you lying? Are you lying for retweets? Like, do you really want to get a retweet? How could you be surprised? You could be upset. You could be disappointed. You could be discontent with the way people are acting. But can you really be surprised? Like, was I shocked when I woke up? Like, oh my God. Like, I was like, this sucks. But like, how could I act surprised? Like, nothing that's going. They bombed a Starbucks. Like, they've been doing it all year. I'm creeped out by these right wingers that like act surprised every day, perpetually surprised. They have to be lying to you. They have to be acting shocked to get you freaking out. So you're freaking out. Like, you don't have to be happy with what's going on, but you can't be surprised. Like, this can't be surprising. Like, oh my God, what the heck did she? It's like she's done this every day for the past 4 years. Like, I feel like, oh my God, holy sh! And I'm like, stop acting surprised. You're creeping me out. It's okay. She kind of messed up my plans. I was trying to save up a little longer and buy land, but I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to sell my book. It's fine. I'm going to do other things. Yeah, they always cheat. It's okay. It makes me laugh. It's like when I play, I'll give you an example. When I play basketball and I play street ball, I never call a foul. I never call fouls. Never. Do you know why I don't call fouls? I get fouled all the time. I don't call fouls because I don't want to hear people complain. Because when you play basketball on the street, everyone complains, I didn't foul, you fouled. So I don't call fouls. Hit me 5 times. This is how I play in the street. I'm tall. I'm 6'3". I know I don't look that tall, but I'm pretty big. Foul me as much as you want. I don't care. I'm not calling a foul. I'm going to score and whatever. The reason I do that is because I want no excuses at the end of the game. You could cheat on me 50 times and I'll still beat you, and you could have to say nothing. If I call a foul, so it's the same with Facebook. You want to slash my revenue? I'm not going to get upset. It reminds me of street balls. You're fouling me, I'm not calling a foul. All they do is cheat. Foul, 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 foul. And you know what? I don't care because I expect it. So at the end of the day, I'm just working it into my routine, being like, they're going to foul me 100 times. They're going to cheat 1,000 times, and I'm just going to win. I'm going to have to win anyway because that's the way I play. And I'm always a fair person. When I play basketball, I don't cheat. If it's on the line, if it's out of bounds, I say it's out of bounds. Other people cheat, other people lie, other people foul. That's on them. You know, that's their conscience. They know they're liars. Why would you want to win a game when you're a liar? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to cheat, does it? I don't feel good winning a street basketball game when I cheat. So I don't cheat. I not only don't cheat, I cheat against myself. I say, foul me, I'll never call it. I don't care. I don't want to hear. It's worth it to not hear these losers cry. So it is what it is. All right. I'm out, guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'm going to tell you 3 things before I leave. Actually, 4 things. The first thing is, if you're part of my email list, stayintouchwithme.com. I'm sending out everybody an email tomorrow morning at like 6:30 Eastern time, maybe 3:30 Pacific time. I'm not sure. Sometime in the morning. So check your mail, and if you don't get your mail, check your spam folder, and you should have an email from me there. In that email, it has my YouTube link, my BitChute link, which is going to come into play if they get really crazy. It's got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere I put my videos, because I put them on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's got my Patreon, which is right there if you'd like to support, and it's also got my new black and pink God is Great hats on dreamwear.com. So look out for the email tomorrow. Also, I'm going to do a nice little video explaining how Facebook took my money and lied about it. This is the last video I'm going to do on it because I'm not going to harp on it for that long, but I do want to video document what they did, what they said, and really do a breakdown video. Every time they fact check me, I've done a video like this and just proved for them. So now if I do seek legal counsel and it gets to that point, this is what I'm going to play in court. I have all the videos of them exactly how they did it, exactly what they said, exactly why they were wrong in my proof. So we'll see what happens. But even if that doesn't happen, whatever. I'm going to make that video, and that's going to be the end of it. And then also, if you would like to, I got the hats, I got the Patreon, but To the supporters on Facebook, like I said, I think I'm going to get the supporter money. If you stay a supporter, I think I get it. That's what they say. But I don't really trust Facebook anymore, so I'm not sure. So if you would like, Patreon is probably the safest place for the people asking, patreon.com/raretalk. But you don't have to do anything. If you don't, like some people say, I don't can or I don't want it, it's fine. I'm just a guy who makes videos on the internet. You can watch my videos. You can watch them on Instagram. The reason I promote my link so much is because now that's how I make money. So I'm just going to say it a lot. You don't have to do it. But also, if you notice, I don't know if you guys do notice, when I'm making a lot of ad revenue money, I don't post Patreon all the time. The only time I posted Patreon is when they took down my live stream. So I only did it to because I don't like to be a selfish or a greedy person. So when I'm doing well, I'm not posting my Patreon all over the place because it's fine. I don't need any money. But I did post it when they took down my live streams for a month. And I am going to post it a lot over the next month because I'm going to try to build Patreon up. It's a subscription thing. It's monthly. So if I could build Patreon up to a certain point where it takes, a large chunk of what Facebook did away, now I've succeeded in another obstacle. You see what I'm saying? They want to try to cut me from what I had, but if I could turn that over to Patreon. So I'm just going to promote it all the time. If you don't want it, don't do it. You don't have to, but this is what I do, and especially when I make millions of views, this was money that they would pay me in ad revenue that I don't have, so I have to promote my own stuff. It makes sense. But yeah, like I said, it's the email thing is stayintouchwithme.com. If you type it in the search bar, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word, it'll bring you to my email list. You can say a lot about me. You can't say I don't have good names. The email list is stayintouchwithme.com. My website is dreamrare.com to buy shirts. And I also bought godblesshats.com. So if you go to God Bless Hats, it takes you there too. That's what I'm saying. Take my money, take my ad revenue. I'm the domain king. I got 2 domains, 3 domains. I'm going to buy more domains. I'm going to have 20 domains. I'm going to buy a house. You get what I'm saying? They don't worry me at all. So that's what it is. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. I'll be back with a new video tomorrow, and I'll get more in the flow of things. I'm just kind of visiting my grandma and doing other stuff this week. So if I don't have a lot of videos and content, that is why. But just know all is well, and I'm going to come back crushing as soon as I get back to my apartment and really start cranking out the videos come election time. God bless you guys.